Alright, welcome to the first Python tutorial video that I'm going to be creating. Today I'm going to be going over the real basics of Python, mostly how to print to the screen, how to make comments, different types of variables, printing these variables, and taking an input. And depending on how we're doing on time, this might be split up into different videos, but we'll see. Let's just go ahead and get right into it. So first thing you should know is how to print to the console or the terminal. And to do that, all you need to do is use this print function. And remember, this is a function, and since it's a function, you always want to add the parentheses at the end. And whatever you want to print to the screen, whether it's a string of letters, so like a word, or whether it's a variable, you want to put it inside the parentheses. And if it were a variable, you would just put the variable name. If it were some string, so a string is encompassed with the double quotes or single quotes, you can just write whatever you want inside of these strings, and then you would save it. And you can just, I'm using Visual Studio, so I can just run it right here, or just run it for me. And let's see, come on, do I have to press enter? No, it should run by itself. There we go. So we get hello world right here. And I could use single quotes if I wanted to also, but make sure if we're going to use single quotes that they both have to be single. And again, make sure I save that. And if I run that, then I should get it. It's a little slow. It's a little slow when I run it this way. Like you see, it's kind of typing in a very slow way. Let's let that pop up, and we get it again. We get the same exact thing right here. Okay, so that's how you print. Let's go over the different types of variables. Let me exit out of that. So, and this is how you leave a comment. So in Python, when you want to leave a comment, you just have to make sure you add this little hashtag ampersand at the beginning, and then notice how it turns gray. That's basically how you leave a comment. And comments are used to leave notes for yourself or other programmers about what the code below is doing. And especially if it's something really complicated, you want to leave a note just so when you go back to it later on, you know exactly what some block of code is doing just by reading your comment. So let's go over different types of variables. So there are strings, which are basically words. There are integers, which are whole numbers. So whole numbers only. The whole numbers only. We have strings, which are words surrounded, or they don't have to be words, they can just be characters. Characters surrounded with these quotes. And then we also have floats. And those are the three we'll be going over today. We'll go over more, but in a different video. And floats are basically decimal points. Decimal points. Okay, so to create a syntax of variables. To create a variable, first thing you want to, I can't spell, variables, yeah, like that. So to create a variable, the first thing you want to do is you want to give it a name. So if I'm creating a program and I need to keep track of a user's name, I could call it X, I could call that variable Y, but to make sense, I'm just going to call that variable name. And I'm going to set this variable name equal to the value of Hunter. And this is a string variable because you'll notice that it is surrounded with the quotes, and kind of like this note I left up here, strings are characters that are surrounded with these quotes. So we know immediately that this is a string. This is a string variable. And I could also do something like age is equal to the string, 20. If I wanted the variable age to be set equal to the word 20, I could do it like that. Otherwise, if I wanted it to be equal to the number 20, I could do something like age equals 20. So this would be the number. So again, this is an integer, so it has to be a whole number. And then this is bothering me that it's not capitalized. And then we also have floating decimal points. And let's say I wanted to create a variable that kept track of a player's health. I can create a variable called player's health, and I can set it equal to 90, or actually let's do this. Let's do something called temperature. We'll create a variable called temperature, and we'll set it equal to 87.33 degrees, okay? And let's spell temperature properly. Now, if I wanted these variables to be printed out to the screen, I can do just that. But again, if I wanted to be printed, I'm going to have to utilize this print function. So to do that, I can print out just like this, and then inside of these parentheses, I would put the name of the variable I want to get printed out. So in this case, if I want Hunter to get printed out, instead of having to type in quotes Hunter, what I could do is just type the variable name, and the variable name is name. If I call this name1 and I wanted Hunter to get printed out, then I would have to type name1 right here. But it's not name1, it's just name. And you'll notice that since these are different, if I hover over this, it'll say undefined variable named1. That's just because I don't have a variable called name1 anywhere in my code. So let's just go ahead and fix this, and let's print out all of them. So I'll print out name, age, and I'll also print out temperature. I'll save my file and then click run up here, and might have to move this up so you guys can see. And right there we get our original hello world, which was printed right here on line 2, and we get name printed out, we get age printed out, and we get temperature printed out, all right here. Now if I just looked at this, I might be a little confused, like, okay, well, what is 20, what is 87.3, what is Hunter? So what I could do is I can add kind of like a description right before them. Now to do that, I can combine kind of how I printed out what I wanted right here and how I created variables. I can kind of combine those two. So to do that, all I have to do is type whatever I want inside quotes. So in this case, I can write my name is, and then separate whatever I want to get printed out with a comma, and then the variable that I want to get printed out. So if I ran this, this would print out my name is, and then end of quotes, comma, variable name Hunter. So this would print out my name is Hunter. If I want to print, or if I want it to look, you know, like my format, if I want it to be like my name is Hunter, I would do it this way. If I wanted to say age 20, I would have to add this right before my variable. So again, very similar to how we printed out hello world here. If I want to print out age colon, I would just use my quotes and then separate whatever I want to get printed with the variable with a comma. And for temperature, if I wanted it to look like the, what is 87.3? 87.3, all I would have to do is add my quotes right here, 87.3. Oh, no, I don't want to write 87.3 because that's my variable. So I would do that. So I would print out temperature, and then right after that, whatever the value of temperature is, will get printed out. So let's run this just so we can see it. Run it right here. And then how do I move this down? Oh, and we can kind of see it. So now we run it again, and we get my name is Hunter. We get age is 20, and we get temperature is 87.3. So if we wanted to change those values, let's say, you know, our age is 31, temperature is 97.1, and Hunter is going to be Winston instead. So now if we run this, we should get my name is Winston, age is 31, and temperature is 97.1. So we should get something that looks like this. And then let me delete these spaces just because it automatically gives us a space once we use that comma. So I'll run this, and I don't think you can see because my face is in the way. Come on, type a little faster. Yeah, how do I clear this? Oh, let me clear my screen. Just do it. Let's just run it again. Bring this down. So there we go. So we get my name is Winston, age is 31, and temperature is now 97.1. And all we have to do is just separate whatever we want to get printed with a comma and our variable. So the syntax for that, the syntax is going to be what you want printed, comma, name of variable you want printed. So it would be just like this, and then you're going to surround that with the print function. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me make sure. Yeah, so that's how you print different variables, or that's how you print out, different text with variables. You could combine, you could do multiple variables. So if I wanted to say, instead of saying my name is, Hunter, and then on a new line, age is this, and then temperature is this, if I wanted to put it all on one line, I could do that. So I could write something like, my name is Winston, I am 31 years old, and it is 97.1 degrees outside. Now go ahead and you can go ahead and pause the video and try to do this on your own. Yeah, go ahead and pause it and try to do it on your own. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. So to do this, all I would do is print my name is, and then I don't want to write Winston because I have a variable that has the value of Winston, so I will separate that with name. So now we should have my name is Winston. We're going to separate it at our period because there's a period right here. My name is Winston, and it should be I am, and then now we need to use our age variable, separate that with a comma, continue typing our quotes, years old, and then years old, and it is temperature degrees outside. So this should print out my name is Winston, I am 31 years old, and it is, oh, messed that up. I am 31 years old, and it is 97.1 degrees outside. So if we save this and run this, we should move this up a little bit, and we get it right here. And yeah, we have a little issue with that, but that's okay. But yeah, we get my name is Winston, I am 31 years old, and it is 97.1 degrees outside. And so that's it for this first video. I just want to go over the basics of Python. So to recap, we went over how to print. You just surround it with quotes. We went over 3 different variable types. So there are strings, which are just anything. So it could be Winston underscore 31. Strings could be numbers if we wanted them to. They could be special characters. They could be anything. It could be a star, but I didn't want to use that. So yeah, it's just any character surrounded with quotes. Then we also have integers, which are just whole numbers only. So just whole numbers. So we couldn't do 31.0. This would turn age into a float. And you notice that right as soon as I did that, we actually have this pop-up. See if I can get it to pop up again. How did I do that? Oh, right here. So if we hover over the variable, it'll tell us, oh, this is a float. So if I get rid of that 0 and hover over again, notice that it says int. And then we can hover over name, and we'll get str for string. Yeah, so temperature is a float variable, so only decimal point. And then we can combine strings like this using comma separated, or separate it with commas. And then we could get really creative and then combine just a bunch of different variables with a bunch of different words that we want. But yeah, I hope that was helpful, and I should have another video out soon. So see you soon.